I think episode 7 of Onimai is surprisingly one of my favorite episodes of the series so far. Just oozing with just so many wholesome moments, some funny moments, and just massive amounts of like relatability. I feel Mahito so much in this episode, it's not even funny. As per usual, Andrew's Detective Services, there was no censorship in this episode. Didn't really expect it, just because there wasn't really anything here that would need to be censored. But again, it's good to know that we have another episode of not having to sail the seven seas in order to find all the content. But yes, a really great episode. And surprisingly, a lot of things changed in this particular episode from the manga. There was a few like added little moments in there, especially like the first point of the episode where you have this scene of Mahito studying with Momiji. Kaede was actually there and they were cooking stuff. And Mahito actually helps Momiji study. Obviously, he's like, well, look, when I was in middle school, I actually used to study back then, so I know all this stuff, and that surprises Momiji. But then he goes over and actually helps Momiji. In the anime, it makes it like Mahito is like all confident, and then Mihari comes in and has to help Momiji study, and Mihari gets angry at Mahito. But no, they actually go down, they eat something, and then Mahito's like, oh, wow, I'm actually looking forward to an exam for once, and Mihari gets all scared because Mahito's actually excited about tests. It was kind of interesting. But yeah, the other scene they kind of added was the point where they go to see Kaede. Kaede says something about, I'm going to teach you all of my secrets. And then Mahito's thinking to himself, that sounds a little lewd. And he looks at the camera at the audience. That was another kind of thing they added in there. And then later on with the scene with Mahito running past the boys, that was added as well. But no, like I said, the relatability in this episode was off the charts. I remember so vividly back when I was in school, because when you were at home, you were playing games. And so when you went to school, you didn't have your games. So you spent the whole time in school thinking about what you're going to do. You strategize, you get prepared, you think about all the stats and where you're going to put the skills and everything. I remember when I was playing Ultima Online specifically, I would actually sit there and write down what skills I wanted to put on my character to meet, reach the cap. And that was all that strategizing that I did before I went home and I applied it. Again, the nostalgia there. Not wanting to be at school and studying, you just want to play games so that you maximize your time. That's what it's all about. But no, that feeling of like not being able to relate to people around you. I mean, in this perspective, obviously it's drawing that difference between boy talk and girl talk. And so when he's with all of his friends, even though he adores all those girls, they look after him and they take care of him and he really appreciates them. Sitting down and talking to them, it's like I can't connect. So he's thinking about, okay, well, let's talk about games. Yeah, games. Wait. Oh yeah, that's right. You're girls and you obviously there's girls that like games. Not saying that. I don't think they're saying that here. These girls don't play games. They're like, oh yeah, my brother plays those games. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. You're girls. What do girls talk about? Asahi. Gosh, I just want to pinch your cheeks. I love the early scene when he goes over there and relates to Asahi, because Asahi's like he used to be dreading exams, and he goes over there and pinches her cheek. You're going to be just fine. But no, that moment where Asahi says, look, talk about whatever you want to talk about. You look like you're having fun when you talk about games. That's a good thing. And he's like, oh, you're such a good girl, and snuggles up against her. I love it. I love it. And Momiji gets all jealous and runs over there too. I was going to say the same thing. It's super sweet. But again, it's kind of pointing out that aspect of like, yeah, he's comfortable with these girls. He loves these girls, but at the same time, he can't relate. And that's a struggle that he's having. And so, yes, later on when he finally hears the boys talking, he's like, yes, this is my place. He runs over there and the boys are like, whoa. Yeah, you're a little bit too close. You can see the uncomfortableness in them. And it's super sweet because they kind of, they talk to him, they relate and everything, but it's just very uncomfortable for them because they're not used to it. So I really do hope we get more of the boys, because again, it feels like he's just he's breaking that little mold of that borderline that's created between, obviously this age is a little more of a gap there, but he's slowly kind of chipping away that they get comfortable over time. Unfortunately, everything shattered the moment the guy points out, wait, the 6th volume? Yeah, that was like before we were even born. Now, it's, again, one of those kind of weird translations. For some reason, I didn't hear the actual phrase that was said there, but whether it's translation or they changed it in the anime, he doesn't say it was before I was born, because it sort of separates himself from Mahito. They're the same age, technically. They're around the same age. So he's in the manga, it's more saying we weren't born yet. And so Mahito realizing, oh crap, yeah, that's right. You guys weren't born before that was made. And he just, what? The obvious response there is, what, you don't retro? Like, I played tons of games that were made before I was born. Why can't you play games before you're born? But no, I get a huge kick. I got a huge kick out of the fact that the moment he's down there and he's just crushed, the girls just pop out of nowhere and say, "You're making a girl cry. You're the worst." I felt so bad for the guys. They were trying hard. The boys were doing good. They weren't being creepy. They were a little bit embarrassed, but they were doing good. But yeah, it was fine though, because he runs past them and says how, sorry about that. In the manga, it actually shows them with a bunch of like marks on their face, like they got beat up by the girls. In the anime, they completely cut that apparently. Super cute though. I loved it. But no, like the core... Oh, the good feels in this episode was obviously around more brother-sister relationship that just, I feel like over the last couple episodes it's sort of been lost because there's so much focus on the new group of girls that he's hanging out with. But yeah, getting that little moment where, Kaede helps them cook things, mentions the fact that, yes, your sister used to come to me about your age, and I taught her how to cook, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's when she used to make all those cookies for me. She used to bake all the time around that time. He's realizing at that point she was doing it for him. I think that's what Kaede's really kind of instilling. It's all about love put in the food that makes it taste good. And she was making that stuff for you. And so, yes, he obviously, when this is all over, it kind of gives him a little bit of inspiration. How do you make good food? You think about someone that you care about. And so, yes, they go through the whole cooking process, and he finally gives Mihari some of his cookies, and she's just like completely thrown off. He doesn't want to admit that he made it for her. He's like, oh, I have some extra ones. Here you go. But she doesn't want to eat them. Mihari doesn't want to eat them. They're too precious to eat. Oh, it was so sweet. I loved it to death. Mihari in the bedroom was just so super cute. I love it. I love these two so much. Minnow, yes. Kaede and Casual. Kaede off, what was it called? Lazy day look. He had to add it to his list. The lazy day look of Kaede. He had to make sure he took a mental note of it. I'm surprised because this was the first time we actually had a toning down of it, because Kaede, she had biker shorts or something on in the manga, and they had this whole butt shot of her. A few side notes. Yeah, it looks like the home ec lady got an upgrade. We're continuing to upgrade characters chest size. Kaede got an upgrade. Mio got an upgrade, and yeah, now the home ec class lady got an upgrade on chest size. I'm surprised that the studio likes this, I guess. I'm surprised that Mahito didn't get an upgrade too at this point. I love the scene with Mahito and Momiji where they're walking and Mahito's talking about how cooking is all about happy fun vibes, and he's all getting excited, and Momiji thinks it's super cute. Mio, as usual, unfortunately is still getting annoying. I really wish they would just do something else with her, at least in the adaptation, just do something with her besides having her freak out every 2 seconds. But no, I skipped it, but I really love Momiji actually being happy. It sounds bad when I say it this way, her being happy that Mahito failed his tests. And it wasn't really an aspect that I think that she wants him to be dumb. It's just that aspect of that it almost made it feel like she felt like Mahito was unattainable. Oh, he's a genius. I can't relate anymore. I can't connect anymore. He's going to get away from me kind of thing. And it really kind of turned more on the idea that it felt like he was too good for her. And the moment that she realized that he needs help, she liked that. Oh, you're not this perfect thing that's unattainable, and I can help you. She liked that. She liked being able to relate and to be able to help him. She wants to be able to help him. That's why she goes out of her way all the time to help him. When they first met, she was helping Mahito. Oh, you're stuck, you're lost, you need help with your shopping. Let me help you. She likes to be a big sister type. She's just like her big sister. Her big sister helped her with everything, and now she's sort of doing the same for Mahito, and I think it was really, really cute. But no, great episode. Like I said, massive nostalgia and just relatability with Mahito. I absolutely loved it. That disconnect between hanging out with the girls and hanging out with the boys and relatability with the characters around him. It was just a great episode overall. Like I said, surprisingly, one of my favorite episodes just based on the aspect of just relatability. I loved it. So looking for the next episode. Unfortunately, I think the next episode's probably going to have a lot of censorship. It's the sleepover episode. And based on the manga, there's one little snippet in there that will probably get censored. But I'll let you guys know next week. But until then, A lot of fun. Cannot wait for more. Love this show to death. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what's thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks button down below, as well as a membership button. I greatly appreciate it, but it supports the channel. Special thanks to Justin T, who recently became a Patreon supporter. I greatly appreciate it, and y'all take care.